identify this interval. Here's what we have from low to high, and then together you get this sound. Okay, so the notes written are D, and then way up here we have an E. And we have a really wide interval. It's beyond the octave. So this is when an interval is beyond the octave, it's called a compound interval. And they can be a little bit tricky to figure out if you just look at it the way it's written. What we want to do is displace octaves to make the notes closer together, but I'll get there in a second. If you are actually going to count the half steps between these notes, there are a total of 14 half steps between this low D and then this E up here, okay? So that's a lot to deal with. It's not probably very helpful to say, oh, 14 half steps is a certain type of interval. It's too much. So we want to figure out how to make this more simple. What you're going to do is take the upper note and just bring it down an octave. So if you take the E there and bring it down to the E on the bottom line, now you have this much smaller interval here. You have two notes that are adjacent to one another. So that's going to be easier to figure it out. If we have this lower E now, we're going to label D as 1, and then we just go up to the next letter name. So this interval here is a second. And if you count the number of half steps here, there are 2. So 2 half steps is a major second. So I'll put big capital M for major second. And that's what the interval would be when you bring the upper E here down an octave. Now, because we've got this wide interval, we have to account for the octave. So remember, octave, 8, right? An octave is an eighth. So this is one letter name beyond the octave. And so this is a ninth. And because it's a major interval when we bring it down inside of the octave, this also is going to be a major interval. And the answer for how this note, these two notes were originally written is this interval here is a major ninth.